Do you know how Amazon started? It's a story that most people don't know. In 1994, Jeff Bezos was a successful senior vice president at a Wall Street investment firm. He was doing well professionally, but something caught his attention that would change his life forever. A report that showed internet usage was growing at over 2,300% per year. That statistic got him thinking, could the internet be a platform to build a business? So he did what any logical person would do. He quit his high-paying job and devoted himself full-time to figuring out how he could capitalize on the internet. So they moved to a small office and hired a few more employees. Things were looking up for Amazon. It was growing quickly and customers were happy. But behind the scenes, there were warning signs that Jeff ignored. He was so focused on building the best customer experience possible that he didn't notice the cracks in his own business. But I knew the one thing I might regret is not trying. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button and subscribe for more updates. We'll see you next time. And that one decision to try became the foundation of a global empire. He made a list of products that could be sold online, and books stood out. Books were universal. People everywhere love reading them. She was curious about how the company was going to make money. Sales increased and profits followed. With each passing year, Amazon grew larger and larger. They expanded from books to music, then to electronics, and eventually to almost every product you can imagine. They also expanded internationally, becoming a true global marketplace. Today, Amazon is one of the largest and most influential companies in the world. Their stock has grown from $2.18 to over $3,000 per share. And it all started with one man, a garage, and a simple idea. But instead of giving her an honest answer, Jeff gave her a canned response that didn't make any sense. He wanted to be seen as a visionary who was focused on the big picture. But the truth was that he was just a regular guy who was trying to make a living. Sarah wrote an article about her conversation with Jeff, and it was published in the New York Times. The headline read, "The Little Online Bookstore That Can't Seem to Make Money." The article went viral, and everyone started talking about Amazon's poor financials. Investors began pressuring Jeff to turn things around, but he refused. He was confident that Amazon would eventually become profitable, but he didn't care about what anyone else thought. He stayed focused on his goal of making Amazon the most customer-centric company in the world. They were also widely demanded, appearing regularly on bestseller lists. And they were easy to distribute since they were already printed and published. So the idea was clear, but the execution was not. Jeff's brother wasn't happy about the situation, but he allowed them to use the garage as an office. When they first started, they didn't even have enough money to buy a domain name. But soon after, Amazon.com was registered and the online bookstore was up and running. The first book ever sold on Amazon was Fluid Concepts and Creative Analogies by Steven Johnson. At the time, there was no professional staff or fancy equipment. Jeff and his small team would receive orders, package the books by hand, and personally take them to the post office. Just imagine sipping a cup of coffee in your garage, fulfilling Amazon orders, and shipping packages to customers. Crazy, right? Jeff needed to find a place to start his new venture. He chose Seattle because of its tech talent and proximity to book distributors. But he wasn't quite ready to start building his business just yet. He had one more stop to make, his brother's garage. After packing his bags, he left New York and drove across the country to Seattle. Along the way, he wrote the business plan for Amazon. When he arrived in Seattle, he hired his first employee, and together they started working in his brother's garage. But as the orders started coming in, they realized that their little garage was going to get cramped pretty soon. One day, a New York Times reporter named Sarah Lee called Jeff Bezos to ask some questions about Amazon's future plans. It took a while, but eventually things started to turn around for Amazon. Jeff Bezos once said, "I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that." Thank you for watching this episode.